We've been wanting to get to work on this thing for quite a while, and now we've definitely made some progress since the last update. We got the vinyl roof off.
Jerk it harder, Jack. Oh,
Kobe! It was fun to see that they screwed the trim on with these hilarious gold style screws, and that was real nice because they had buttons or snaps similar to what you'd find on your jeans, but nothing to snap over it. We also removed the opera glass windows here. We noticed that the seal was not done right after they did the tinting of the window and reinstall along with their interior changeover. It didn't seal right, and there's evidence of the rust that was present down on this floor thing, but we coated it with an undercoating product prior to wanting to seal it with.
is that what we're seeing up here? That black paint type stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a good base for our sound deadener product that we're going to be installing soon in here. We are also in the process of changing over the interior. We had issues with the electric windows and they weren't working right, so we decided to change it over with the crank windows. All the windows now operate correctly. What's nice about these crank windows here was that the car was relatively unmolested, so it works real smooth. These panels are in a much better condition than the ones that were from before. So now you won't have any issue with the windows going up or down. Prior to installing the new pieces in the door for the window and stuff, we noticed that electrically would lock the car on and off. It would do it in repetition. And then also the power window switches weren't working. So while we were tracing those wires to see what was going on with that, we found out in the harness here, it has an aftermarket alarm system and a rat's nest of wiring problems from there. So decided then to change over the harness from the unmolested car, and all that will be restored again, you know, as far as operating all the little gadgets.
So the last time we were here, I remember seeing an engine.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was an engine in here before?
Yep, the 307 Oldsmobile V8 Weezer engine, along with the turbo 350 transmission, 3-speed.
Okay, so this down here on the right is what was in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so this was what you just took out. This engine over here is what's going into it.
Yes, this is the block of the 455 Buick.
And we've showcased this before.
Yes.
Okay.
That's another video
Another day,
entirely, yes. The idea, though, is that we're prepping its throne, so to speak, to make it so that we'll have a much better handling car as well. All the suspension pieces have been removed too. Our uppers and lower A-arms were cut for raising the front of the car, so we decided to replace that.
Clown shit.
Clown shit.
Come on, it's all about
clowny. It's
form,
clowny.
not function.
Well, yes,
We
of
like
course,
the bouncy
because-
bounce.
Well, the form over function is exactly right. That's the whole purpose of this exercise, is an exercise in form rather than any sort of function. I don't understand, but that's their thing. It's an art form, and they did take a lot of time on this paint. But it's still
We're
clown shit.
repurposing their form from clown to speed.
To speed.
Our art is speed.
In some form, yes. But more so performance, not art. And this here was the upper control arm. All of this has been cut away with a cutter. Now, it's normally like this is where, and then that's how much of the metal that they removed on there, and that made these rendered not useful anymore. The ram did some damage on the lower control arm by creating an issue with where the shock absorbers. These still, in theory, the lowers can be serviced if need be. These seem to be pretty good, and as is the ball joint. So it would be usable, but we wanted to make sure with the changes that we're doing to the suspension that we wanted to keep that all together. So we opted out to replace all of this. Spindles, control arms, springs, shocks. So we'll have all of that new in the car.
That's gonna take forever before they come in.
No, actually, with the marvel of today's technology, it's already here. So we're going to unbox these. By the size of this one, it should be the lower control arms. And we'll find out here. We'll just... Yeah, they could be the spindles too. Like, and you are correct. They are spindles. It's 2-inch drop spindles instead of the control arms was my bet, so I would have lost right away. So we have left and right. The next one, Moroso, been around forever, since I was a little kid. These are very cool trick springs, as they call them. They claim that one side is taller than the other, so there's special instruction, obviously. So there's letter L and R on these parts, and one of them makes it so that the planting, when you launch, it'll give it more grip on that one side. We would have gotten the QA1 shocks, but hey, they're a little out of line in pricing right now. Since we're doing this much work to it, we had to go conventional. But someday we'll upgrade to that. Nope, these are the upper control arms, complete with the ball joint installed and new bushings.
Fancy.
This is indeed the transmission Crossmember. The old one that was in here, which only allows a single exhaust, this allows dual. Weighs considerably more than this. And there's a crazy angle on it as well. But there's 2 locations to mount this. That's what's cool on the car. This one is actually for the transmission that's hiding under here. Is a Turbo 400 from back in the day. And that's what this Crossmember will allow that to mount to it. It's cool that that much came today already, and then I'm sure the UPS guy is gonna love us because there's more coming.
A lot more.
A lot more. We got this during the pandemic and we're just gonna open this up. And the hope is that they're going to be control arms. The lower versions, because they seem to be rather large boxes, so likely that's what it will be.
These are from an S10, so they are slightly different.
Yep. So the lower control arm, and they mimic the one that we currently have because the distortion for the mounting of the shock and shit on the others was pretty bad, and these are in obviously brand new shape. Bushings installed, as is the ball joint, so we're all good that way.
And no, they do not make new lower control arms for these cars. I looked for several hours. You only get tubular ones. Those are like $700
Yes.
for the pair. Fuck that. These
Right.
were like $150. No problem.
As I had mentioned before, on the interior of the car, we're going to be using a sound deadener product. It's called Fat Matte. Why not? Plus, they gave me a cutter too,
Yeah.
so you're all good now.
Well, fuck.
And a sticker to put on your window.
Need that.
And it even has an instruction guide, so it's cool though that they provided it. So that'll make it easier to install too with the pre-cut sheets, and this little roller thing should make it look pretty good. In the process of transferring the interiors over to that car, we ultimately cleared out most everything. The pieces that are here though are very nice. It's not even hardly weathered. So you got a nice body, shitty interior. You got nice interior, shitty body.
I gotcha.
So we'll take this out then and put it in that car, which is worthy of doing. You know? Very exciting. It is. Has been forever.
Jack! 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 Ooh, shiny header. Jack! Where is that motherfucker? Oh, that's right. He had to go to work. As if that guy actually works. Jack's probably jacking it at fucking work right now. So, what did he forget? He forgot the brakes. These are the brakes that are going to go on the vehicle. They're off of a F-body Camaro or Firebird. So these brakes will convert the rear drums to disc brakes, which will be ideal for the stopping power we'll need for the speed that this thing will have when it's done. We'll be showing off how to install that kit later on.